Shadowlands, we learned that Denathrius team have an agent of life they had almost corrupted that is related to either build, and of course some time has passed since the Shadowlands. We had also learned that they had successfully infiltrated a void as well. Then after that we have the classic, the vassal of life disguised as treachery, beware the eyes of green. Now we have the sudden return of Ysera and the green dragons being relevant, and just now they planted the Night Elven seed that all of a sudden Zovaal talks about how deeper its roots will grow, welcoming our embrace. Now, to top it all off, there was a recent Blizzard interview that confirmed that the new Zovaal lines are super relevant and intentional, and that we should look back at what Zovaal said in the past and connect it with Il'gyonot's lines, because he is talking about the same thing that Zovaal was fighting and talking about, the supposed what is to come. Now, as you may know, Denathrius worked for Zovaal but jumped ship when he realized he failed, and he's still around as that ended up with a cliffhanger. How likely is that Denathrius is now using his life and void pawns to continue his ultimate plan? If you guys are looking to buy Dragonflight or anything Warcraft related, Gamivo has some amazing sales that you can check out with my link. On top of that, you can get software, gift cards, various games at crazy prices. Best of all, you can use my code DORON to add yet another discount to your purchase, so make sure to click my link below, check out Gamivo, and grab some amazing deals. So I'm guessing by this point all of you are familiar with the Old God line and really the very interesting speculation that we have, and that is the whisper known as the vassal of life disguised as treachery, beware the eyes of green. People have essentially connected this to pretty much everything and its mother, but right now we have a lot more context. In fact, we have so much new information that this could turn out to be incredibly interesting. So most recently, Steve Denathrius did a new interview where he was trying to not spoil anything, but he did kinda spill the beans on some really interesting factors. He gave us a complete new context on the Old Gods and specifically N'Zoth. As you may be aware, N'Zoth has new lines in that time travel to the Black Empire, and Steve Denathrius actually said he wrote those lines personally because they are really important hint to what is going to happen. He sort of hinted that something could be going on with that theory that N'Zoth extracted our info in the past so he can prevent his demise in the future, but most interestingly, he confirmed that the Old Gods are not exactly minions of the Void Lords as we had previously believed. In fact, the Old Gods don't really have such a rigid hierarchy like the Titans do, and their current plan may be something completely different. Now, most interestingly, he said that we should go back in time and just look at some of the things that were said. Il'gyonot's whispers, as well as things N'Zoth said. Of course, he did say that some of those are actual just complete BS, as that is just the way the Void works. There are countless possibilities on what could happen, some come to fruition, some don't. However, he said the thing N'Zoth has been warning us about is the exact same thing that the Jailer has been warning us about as well. Now, all of you know that Shadowlands ended on a terrible cliffhanger, or just terrible in general, but the reality is that the Jailer apparently saw this massive threat coming, bigger than anything we can imagine, and this is not the Void Lords nor the Black Empire. Zovaal trying to unite the universe, he thought he had it in him to stop it, but that ended up not being the thing. Now, apparently, N'Zoth is also aware of this big thing that is to come, and he's referencing it, and Blizzard told us to kind of look between the lines. Now, guess what connects all of these points? Our guy Denathrius, and really the actual mastermind behind all this stuff that the Jailer took credit for, and he pretty much got away scot-free despite being the one that was actually pretty much responsible for everything. As you may have noticed, Denathrius' story ended with a cliffhanger where he pretty much abandoned Zovaal, and this is completely in line with his actual thinking. Denathrius was never a pawn, as we could learn back in Shadowlands. He had an agent in every single cosmological force, and he just played on the strengths of who was relevant at the point in time. He realized that Zovaal is lame, just like we could also realize it, and he just abandoned him, just how the Jailer abandoned Denathrius as well. Keep in mind, it was actually Denathrius that pretty much broke him free that defeated the Arbiter. However, we never actually defeated the dreadlords, and they're still around, and we have two really interesting hints that hint at not only the return of the Denathrius, but also Denathrius himself. So the very likely agent of the light that they mentioned is most likely the Traxian that we could of course expand on. However, we had also learned that they had quite easily infiltrated the Void as well. Here is what they said. The Void Lords all but welcome us with open arms. They're so preoccupied with their 1,000 truths that they ignore the lies we sow in their very midst. I believe we can leverage their vast reach to position them as a foil against our other rivals. We remain wary though, since they're observant of multiple outcomes, it is conceivable they could anticipate our coming. So this essentially confirms that they already have an agent or are deep in that mission, and it is really no surprise that they were successful in infiltrating the void, since they are the beings of death and limited chaos as well. However, now the most interesting line is in regards to life, which has huge implications for Dragonflight. This is what they said. The adherents to life are the most insidious of opponents, perhaps because their nature is so antithetical to our own. Still, we learned much from observing the link between their plane and other build, and we have high confidence that a vulnerability has been identified. Our operative has already gained the trust of her target. So, I don't know about you, but we have someone that just returned from Ardenbuild. We know Ardenbuild is connected to the Emerald Dream. The seed was just planted in the dream. There are huge hints it is going to be corrupted by the old gods, and yeah, these guys have an agent everywhere. Now, this, of course, brings us to the old god line, and keep in mind, they know about a lot of possibilities. Even the Denathrius team confirmed that the void can see through them, which is why they said this: the vassal of life disguises treachery. Beware the eyes of greed. So it's definitely hard to figure out who this could be, but if we do connect this to the older line, then it will mean someone related to the green Dragonflight, which would make it super relevant to the current Dragonflight storyline. The dreadlords didn't confirm that they corrupted someone from Ardenbuild. They only said they used this connection to learn how the beings of life work, as Ardenbuild is a death realm, but it is also connected to life. One of the possibilities could be Vol'jin, as he might be reborn as a Loa, although I honestly doubt it. I think this is more likely related to the green dragons, as this is super relevant to what is currently going on. So in my opinion, we currently have about 3 possibilities. There is Ysera, their daughter Meritra, and there is also a bit of a lesser known dragon, Valetria Dreamwalker, that is also present right now. Valetria Dreamwalker is the green dragon that was taken by the Scourge, and we saved her back in Wrath, that you guys might remember, and right now she is actually in Dragonflight, so it would make sense that the dreadlords had access to implant something in her mind or even take over her form. However, I don't think she is a character that is really relevant for something to happen with her, as this is sort of a minor role green dragon, so she's not exactly someone that has all the actual commands. Now, that leaves us with Ysera and Meritra. Ysera could personally be the most likely possibility, as she was in the Death Realm and in the direct reach of the dreadlords. Keep in mind, the Denathrius team are crazy good infiltrators. You had all seen that back in Shadowlands, where they worked on saving the Denathrius, so it's 100% possible they got inside Underbuild and played around with this resurrection mechanism and somehow took over her form. The book Enemy Infiltration seems to happen around the start of Shadowlands, and Ysera was already in Underbuild at that point, so it would check out. However, they could have also taken over Meritra, and as we know, she is a new leader, and this would make her an even more favorable person. Both of these characters are connected to the new seed and the Emerald Dream, and Denathrius could use his agent to assist the old gods in corrupting it, as maybe this time they would serve his interest. I do honestly think it would be hard for the dreadlords to take over someone so powerful or roleplay as them, but we had seen that happening in the past. They managed to infiltrate the Burning Legion and full kill Jaden and Sargeras, who are infinitely more powerful. We can also see the times they pretended to be Medivh, or they just took over the Scarlet Crusade and ruled and just did their own thing, so I don't think these green dragons are really just so far out of their reach. The Denathrius team are also really good at staying in the role. We have seen them do their thing for thousands of years, only to suddenly play the trap. This could, for example, be the reason why Ysera had to sacrifice Malfurion. Maybe that was not actually necessary whatsoever, but it was done in order to weaken the Emerald Dream and the defenses of Azeroth to help the old gods. As you may know, Denathrius previously worked with the Jailer to fight against this big what is to come, but seeing that he failed and Azad is aware of it, he could have just switch allegiances to that now. Keep in mind, Blizzard said they love Denathrius and plan to use him more, which they didn't in Shadowlands, so it could mean that this could be happening soon. Also, Denathrius was surprisingly super present in that Shadowlands ending cliffhanger, which strongly indicates that he still has something up his sleeve. I don't personally think Denathrius is serving the old gods whatsoever. He's just using them as he has been using everyone else. He's probably looking out for the Death Realm, as Zovaal proved useless and couldn't protect it. Seeing that so much was hinted at with the dreadlords in Shadowlands, yet not much happened, it is very likely that this plot was moved for as soon as Dragonflight. We still don't know who is that agent of light, probably Retraction, and now this agent of life that was mentioned could be the perfect person to bring back not only Denathrius, but the entire Denathrius team army. I also think it would be a really good choice Blizzard could use, as Denathrius was very well received, and it would honestly make a lot of sense. Thank you for watching. Check out how the old gods may rebel against the Void Lords by clicking on the screen, and check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.